Muslims try to convince us that their prophet was never possessed by Satan or any evil spirit. But is that true? In the past, we have mentioned the satanic verses in multiple live streams and short videos. In this short video, I'll fully explain the famous historical and authentic incident that happened in the life of the Prophet of Islam. A black magic spell or sihr of shaitan was cast on the Prophet of Islam. When Muslims are asked, how can this so-called final prophet be affected by black magic and be under the control of Satan for many months, they will try to brush it off as if nothing happened and will give you all kind of weak excuses. But in this video, I will teach you how to make an airtight argument against their demonic false prophet when you debate these Muslims about this very topic. And we also will prove that their false prophet became the prophet of Satan and his evil demonic spirits for 6 long months. Yes, you heard that correctly. What? So let us start with the Quran in Surah Al-Hijr, chapter 15, ayahs 42 and 43. Certainly you, in other words, Shaitan, shall have no authority over my slaves except those who follow you of the Ghaween, the Mushrikun, and those who go astray, criminals, polytheists, and evildoers, etc. Notice the Arabic word here is al-Ghaween and is referring to pagans, idol worshippers, kuffar or disbelievers, people who love and do evil. In other words, perverse humans who follow and worship Satan himself. So if we can prove that the Prophet of Islam was under the control of evil demonic spirits for 6 months, then Muhammad became an evil false prophet and worshipper of Satan. This is a very important point to build up a huge case against the Prophet of Islam. So keep that in mind, because according to this verse in front of us, Satan in Islam has the authority over the deviators and perverse who will follow him. And the next verse, ayah 43 says, and surely hell is the promised place for them all. Meaning Muhammad is then in hell. Wow. So now let us continue with Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 5765. Magic was worked on Allah's messenger so that he used to think that he had sexual relations with his wives while he actually had not. And Sufyan said that's the hardest kind of magic as it has such an effect. Notice the Prophet was under a black magic spell, thinking that he had sexual intercourse with his wives while he did not, walking the streets of Mecca and Medina as a possessed madman, effing nothing but hot air. And it was the hardest kind of black magic according to Sufyan. The third step for us is to go to the explanation or exegesis by the Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in his renowned work called Fath al-Bari, volume 10. On page 243, we find the same Sahih Bukhari being explained. And on page 246, we read, Ibn al-Qayyim said, among the most beneficial and most powerful medicines available is the resistance to magic, which is the effect of evil spirits with divine medicines of remembrance, supplication, and reading. If the heart is filled with Allah, with His remembrance, and has a daily recitation, supplication, and turning to Him, then that's one of the greatest reasons preventing magic from affecting him. Notice, if you're under a black magic spell, you are being affected by evil demonic spirits, and only the da'if, weak people whose hearts are not filled with Allah and don't supplicate and pray to Allah daily can be affected by these evil demonic spirits, which proves that Muhammad is a disbeliever, a fraud who only claimed to be a Muslim, and that's why the evil spirits could have controlled him for 6 months. And Ibn Qayyim continued saying, the power of magic's influence is for the weak hearts, and for this reason it often affects women, children, and the ignorant, because evil spirits are only active on souls which they find ready and suitable for them. End of summary. This is very crystal clear language from Ibn al-Qayyim. As you see, Muhammad was weak and didn't have much faith in Allah, and his soul was ready and suitable for the evil demonic spirits to control him. And in our final and last step to close this case, we now go to Tafsir Ibn Kathir, volume 8 on page 538 for chapter 113 of the Quran, ayah 5. We read, from Aisha, she said, the Messenger of Allah was bewitched for 6 months, thinking that he had intercourse with his wives, but in reality, he did not. So as you see, today we proved again that the Prophet of Islam truly was the prophet of Satan and his army of evil demonic spirits for 6 long months. And we even used the Quran to prove that the false prophet was a follower and worshipper of Satan. Muslims, stop defending Islam and the most obvious false prophet in history. Please wake up and stay away from Islam. Have a nice day and God bless.